Okay, I keep getting one day behind on my videos here, so it's a little confusing. This is actually yesterday's video of the 21st, so this is Tuesday. I'd had a big loss the day before and was doing some calculations and decided that if I make, $900, well, even $750 a day for the next 4 days, I will still be able to pass the eval. So it's a lofty goal, and it's going to require some different kind of trading. But if I don't do it, then it's not going to happen at all. So kind of putting it all on the line. All right, so you can see that the Fibonacci line here, I remember saying at one point that if it passed this one, the next one up there was so big, it was just the most humongous gap up there. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but look at that, it did. It did get up to that other Fibonacci line. Unbelievable. So I made a new Fibonacci line here with the information just from yesterday. You can see it, just a very small one, just over 1 day's worth of material here. And it looks like it's maybe heading up. When we get down to the 30-minute chart, it's starting to tip down, but the MACD is maybe going up. The value area from previous day's trading is pretty narrow. And my first trade, I thought possibly, I'm looking like a large size trade here. I'm looking at going short, and it has broken through that resistance level of the SMA here, but it does look like it's leveled out and maybe starting to lose momentum. So you can see that on the indicators for sure. And I didn't expect it to drop more than the band of the value area. All right, let's look at how that's going. Zoomed into the 1 minute chart. I'm in here. We'll see what happens when it hits that blue line. Whew, I don't know. Maybe still dropping. Starting to go down. So that's awesome. So I locked in $100 in profit and got stopped out. It's very tight, but I could have held on. So I tried to jump in again, and I should have just not been quite so cautious, I guess. After it broke through that line so decisively, I could have just left my stop where it was and hoped for a bigger bunch. I could have maybe raised up my limit or something like that when I got down to this point and it started to curl up. All right, so I made a second trade there and made a little bit of a profit. Excuse me, it says loss. All right, and it's still continuing to drop. Okay, all right, I am making a big judgment call here that it's going to drop down past all these Fibonacci lines down to the SMA. And this is the 15-minute chart, so it's a big time frame chart here. That was asking an awful lot for the way the market is right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. The government is still closed, has been. I think this is the third week that it's going to be closed, and there's a bunch of trade deals with China that are a little bit iffy right now. So the market just in general is teetering on the edge. It has not made a decision whether it's happy or sad right now. And so getting out of this band is going to take a lot. And so asking it, to get all the way down to this point, that's just ridiculous. Okay, this is my dollar goal for the day. So, that's a lot. All right, so it's going the wrong direction. I've got my stop way up there. And this is some information about what's going on. This is encouraging. I think it's going to fall, but we'll see. It's going up at the moment and up some more. Leveled out, starting to drop, big drop. That was awesome. All right, and started to move very quickly at this point. It's 9:44. So I briefly got into a profitable position, but then it bounced right back up again. And then it came back down. Okay, went out to the 15-minute chart, and we can definitely see a loss of momentum. So I'm still hoping for big things here. This is looking beautiful, but I chose not to act on it. I was waiting for bigger things. And not sure what I did right there, but anyway. Okay, right here I decided, I don't know. I thought briefly about getting out and re-entering a short up, when it went up again. And this is a really good trade. And in hindsight, I definitely should have taken this one. But I didn't. And I moved my limit order up here, but it didn't take. It kept going up at that point, and so I basically lost all of that trade. And it tested it again, and I still didn't take it. In fact, it got an even better trade at that point. And you can see there's a Fibonacci line right through there. So it's definitely finding support at that level right there. And it even got up to a $400 trade, and I did not take that. And I'm really kicking myself for doing that. That was really foolish. I mean, it's good to hope for good things, but that was a bit much. I was hoping for like a $700 trade all at once. And it bounced up from that point, obviously. And still in a profitable position here. But then it started going up. And at this point, I thought, man, oh man, this is a $387 loss. If I got stopped out at a $400 loss when I had a $400 profit in my pocket, I think that would just be awful. So I canceled my stop because I was certain that it was going to drop at that point, and it did. I'm going out to the 5-minute chart, and I am trying to reevaluate to see, is there any evidence that it's not going to drop? And I'm really not seeing that. I see that it is hitting kind of a resistance level up here that it's kind of formed. And I put an alert at the very peak right up here, just in case. And sure enough, it did drop. It was beautiful. All right. I'm going to raise that up to this point here. I'm still hoping for one more Fibonacci line lower than where it went before. It's looking pretty good. Oof, it's looking beautiful. And actually, I think I raised it up to that Fibonacci line there. Oh, so close, so close. And I didn't take that one either, and it went up again. And then it went all the way up here, and I was at an $812 loss. For a brief period of time. And it's almost 11 o'clock, and I need to leave. So what did I do? I just let it ride. And I redid the Fibonacci line, I guess, and I wondered perhaps if it was only going to drop to like 76, 73 at that point. I was a little bit concerned if it was only going to get to this line right through here. All right, so overnight, not overnight, for the rest of the afternoon, you can see this is 12:15 all the way to closing. And yes, indeed, it did drop down that far. But what I was doing, you can see it went up to this peak right here, which was, actually I think it was, this peak right here. And then it dropped down, and then it went back up even further, and then it dropped way down. And at that point, on my phone while I was at work, I reversed. And I actually made, I think, a little over $100 for that trade. And then I wrote it up, missed that, wrote it down, and then I got out here and actually reversed. And then it went up. I lost money with all of this, and then it made a great big drop right before the closing of the day. And then I think this was like 4:30 or so, between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, I got out at a profit. So I actually made $333 for the day. So I could have done better had I just gotten out and not been quite so greedy at the beginning, wanting to get that perfect trade. And in hindsight, what's really weird is if I had held on to that original trade, I don't know, 69, I think. Let me see. No, I would never have gotten that one. Never have gotten that one. It only went down to 69. So, that's right where I got in. So anyway, that was the day. So at least I made a little bit, and